reaction on the way from the King Power after that 2-2 between Leicester and Everton. I mean, Leicester out of the relegation zone on goal difference, and Nottingham Forest joining Everton and Southampton in the bottom three. The visitors, who of course trailed at 2-1 after that penalty save from Jordan Pickford, they got the equaliser from one of those 23 shots we told you about. Alex Iwobi, who you criticised for his role in one of the goals, Jamie Vardy's lovely finish to make it 2-2 though.
Yeah, really pleased for him. You know, when you've made a mistake in a big game, you want to be able to return in a positive manner, and he was involved in the build-up. It was a good start to both halves, actually, for Everton. Put Leicester on the back foot, and when you've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the team, you can just sometimes put a cross in and ask him to go deliver, as long as you've got players up in support to try and win the second ball as it falls. And that's exactly what Alex Iwobi does. He gets himself in a good position. Had a chance early in the first half. Hit it in quite similar manner. Everton saved it, but this one sort of just tackles, stroke, passes it through the legs of Thomas. And yeah, massive for Everton that, to get back onto level terms. And we're trying to push for the winner after that, and couldn't quite manage it.
It was a nice finish. Really nice finish. I'm not sure whether it would have been as simple if the defender wasn't there, you know. If you're just concentrating on that finish, then sometimes, as you say, it was almost not a full tackle, but it was almost, was he concentrating on the finish, or was he just trying to strike through the ball? But it ended up being a good finish. And as you say, you know, when you've made a mistake in a game, you just want to rectify it. And he certainly did that. I thought he had a decent enough game.
Well, there's so much happened. Let's go back to the beginning, because, as you say, Everton started both halves strongly. They got the penalty in the first half very early on as well, which there wasn't much debate about in the end.
No, I didn't think so. And I said that, you know, they finally got a bit of decent quality into Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he caused a little bit of nervousness for Leicester defensively. And you saw the way the Evertonians clapped the team off the pitch at the end, that, you know, they're pleased with the performance tonight and the commitment that the players showed. They've come away from home in a big game, and they really took it to Leicester, tried to create opportunities. They didn't score as many as I felt they could, but this is a big moment. Dominic hasn't scored for a long time in the Premier League, October in the Premier League, so to stand up there in a crucial game, penalty kick, glad to see him convert it.
But Everton's problem, as we said at half-time, not only scoring goals, but holding on to leads. Just 6.5 minutes they led.
Yeah, and they played so well in that first period of the game. They definitely deserved to go ahead. And it was virtually Leicester's first sort of attack or so. I mean, they were under a lot of pressure, but they did recycle the ball well. They kept putting it back in the box, leaving it into a dangerous area. And Soyuncu, with the finish, it does take a little deflection off Michael Keane, who had a testing night, really. He made a few mistakes, and I don't suppose he could do much with that, but it's just when you looks out. And that got Leicester back in the game, and actually after this, they played particularly well. But up until this point, Everton were in control.
And you mentioned Alex Iwobi's goal after what happened for Vardy's as well. And Michael pinpointed at half-time. I mean, you taught from a very young age, actually, not to go square in the way he did.
Yeah, well, I've just felt it summed Everton's season up, you know, opportunity to make something happen, and just wanting to be too safe and too secure, and then actually being sloppy when you should be safe and secure, giving the ball away in a positive manner. There's an opportunity, go and create something. And for the majority of the match, I've got to be honest, Everton did, but that just felt falling into their own old ways in that moment, and could have took the safe route out, tried to make something. Two centre-halves could never recover because of the quality that Jamie Vardy has. His positional sense was brilliant. His run was very, very clever. And when the ball falls to Maddison, that's exactly the person Leicester wanted it to fall to. And there's only one window there. We've seen him do that for years.
Yeah, when you've got such secure possession like that, it almost lulls your team into a false sense of security. Your full-backs go high and wide. Your centre-half starts splitting because you think you've got comfortable possession. And when you go and give a simple ball away, all of a sudden it's panic stations. Everyone's out of position. And as you see, Vardy just runs right through the middle of them. They can't squeeze the gap quick enough. And it's a beautiful finish in the end. At that pace, to run that quickly, he cuts across Michael Keane. And to be doing that and then beat the goalkeeper, all, you know, at breakneck speed, and to be in control, it's a really hard combination to perfect.
Then to what turned out to be a huge moment for Everton. Before the save, the awarding of the penalty? We've got slightly different views here.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand Michael's point of view. I mean, this would never have been a penalty kick in the past. It's a frustrating one to give away, but with the rules that are in the game now, if your arm is away from the silhouette of your body and it strikes your arm within that penalty area, it's going to be a penalty kick. So no surprise to see the referee give it. I don't think there was many complaints other than Michael Keane. And then what was a crucial moment. If Everton go 3-1 down there just before half-time, I think the game's over. I don't think there's enough goals in this Everton team to get them back into it. So great mind games, great research, and great ability just to read what Maddison was going to do. It's an important save.
Well, you mentioned research. Look at that, Michael. On Jordan Pickford's bottle, 3 main penalty takers for Leicester, their percentages of where they've put penalties. We understand that James Maddison's research there goes back 5 years to when he was taking them in the Championship.
Well, that's an incredible insight, I feel, to the type of homework that every player, not just goalkeepers, do for, on a match day. And you see Tielemans at the top there 100% of the time. He goes to his left, and you go down Vardy's penalties. Mainly, he puts it to the right, obviously in the green. And funny enough, when you see Maddison, then he almost writes some words to the right of that. You say stay, and central stay, and stands up down the middle, because there's 60% down the middle. So great insight there, great camera work, and it's brilliant to be able to look at that. Of course, whoever was going to pick up the spot, he would have had a quick glance to his bottle and thought, right, where am I going to go? And it's brilliant homework there.
Yeah, and that's what the analysts do, the goalkeeping coaches work with each goalkeeper in the Premier League, not just Jordan Pickford.
Yeah, I mean, back when I was still playing, it used to be done to that depth over penalty competitions. When you knew somebody was going to penalties, you'd do it. Now it's done over top 3 penalty takers within a game. Usually it was, you knew who was on penalties, which way have they gone last time, and it was round about that depth. Now, the amount of research that goes into it, as you said, 5 years of research to go into Jordan Pickford making that one save tonight, but it could be massive.
And they're the fine margins. And talking of which, we mentioned his opposite number, Everson, who, of course, is the third goalkeeper to play, really, in the last year for Leicester in goal. Got his chance a few weeks ago. How good were some of his saves this evening?
I think he's done very well since he's come in for Danny Ward. Made a lot of good saves tonight. I thought this was an excellent save. Comes at him quick. Maybe Iwobi could have gone low, but I think it was a great save. Again, a reaction save, stood big, stood tall. And throughout the game, really, I thought he played very well, made some really important saves. I think that's more of a miss from Calvert-Lewin, but still the goalkeeper's got to be praised for that save. And then finally, this is the second to last one, another good one, a good save, this time with his feet. I thought this from Decore was an exceptional one. Left foot, I mean, he does really well. Strong hand there. So both goalkeepers today have put in really good shifts and earned their team a point.
OK, let's talk to the Everton hero then, Jordan Pickford, live at the King Power Stadium. Thanks for joining us, Jordan. First of all, how's that viewed from an Everton point of view? You were behind, you saved the penalty, a good point, or the way you finished and had 23 shots, an opportunity missed?
Yeah, I think definitely we need to be happy with a point, but I think, the opportunities we had today, we could have took all 3, but we're both at 2 teams fighting down the bottom, and I think it was a right good game. But yeah, I think we can take a lot of positives from it. Going 1-0 up, I think that was the best we've started for a while. But yeah, positives, but disappointed we didn't get 3 points.
Big moment at 2-1, just before half-time when you faced James Maddison. What was going through your mind?
Just me homework I did in the World Cup. He was practicing that a lot, and I just had a feeling if I make a little move, then just stay down the middle. He's a quality player with a lot of quality, and I think he probably expects me to reverse it. But yeah, do my homework and happy with the save.
Jordan, it's Michael Owen. We get a little glimpse. Some sneaky cameraman has picked up this diagram, let's say, on your water bottle. Depending on what penalty taker, I guess that you'd have a sneaky little look and see where your percentages lie there.
Yeah. Me and Kells and the analysis staff, we go through it and we'll make our decision. And I felt like Madders would go down the middle today, and the percentages are there. But I didn't look at my bottle too much. I had a feeling he was going to go there.
Jordan, it's Leon Osman.
Oh, yeah.
Well done, mate. Great penalty save. How crucial do you think that save could be come the end of the season? Because I felt if we go 3-1 down in that game, it's very difficult to get back into the game. We didn't. We had a bit of momentum to take into the second half because of it, and earned a point. Could have been more. How much can we take that forward moving to the last few games?
Yeah, of course. It becomes a total different game, like you say, if we go 3-1 down. So as a goalkeeper, I think as a team, you've got to help your teammates out when called upon. And I felt like it was a soft handball, but I've gotten us out of trouble a little bit with a penalty save. And we've had a lot of opportunities, and fair play to Iverson. I think he's had a wonderful game today, made a lot of good saves, and I'd say he kept them in the game.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. But despite the pressure of the game, you still managed to play with a smile on your face, and you had a big smile on your face when Jamie Vardy missed an opportunity to lob it into the goal when you came rushing out. It was a chance gone for him, but still managed to smile through it.
Yeah, I was more happy that the referee, the line, will give offside. First and foremost, I felt like I'd made the right decision, to come for it. I thought me timing, it was just maybe sometimes I just put it into the stand, put it into Rose Ed and calm it down. But yeah, I'll hold my hands up. I can't be perfect all the time, but I felt like it was the right decision in the moment of the game.
Jordan, finally, 4 games to go. You've got some belief tonight. And when you look at those 4 cup finals, for that awful cliche, have you got more belief than you started with?
Yeah, I think 23 shots, I think you said, today. That's got to give us belief. If we can be a bit more tighter at the back with that intensity going forward and that applied pressure against other opponents, and if the keeper's not on form like he was today, we'll have right chances. But we've got to believe, and we've got good team spirit and togetherness, and we've got to keep going, fighting all the way at the end.
Well played tonight. Really appreciate you joining us.
Thanks very much.
Well done,
Cheers,
Jordan.
lads. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Jordan Pickford live from the King Power after that extraordinary game that ended 2-2. So 4 each left to play. Do we think it's down to 2 from 4 now? Or West Ham have a little bit of a buffer? There you go. Leicester, Fulham, Liverpool, Newcastle and West Ham. Leeds, City away, Newcastle at home, West Ham away and Spurs at home. Forest have the bottom club Southampton next. Then they play Chelsea and Arsenal, and they finish with Crystal Palace. Now, as we've mentioned, they go to Brighton next, Everton, then City at home, Wolves and Bournemouth. Last day, fine margins.
Yeah, I mean, all 4 of those teams have a couple of really difficult games and a couple that they'll think they can win. I mean, even Leeds, Man City and Newcastle, you wouldn't give them much hope, and then West Ham away, maybe the same. But the way Spurs are playing, if they can get to that last game of the season with Spurs at home, then I think they'll fancy that. And the same with Everton, Brighton and City away, very difficult. But then 2 games that maybe you can go and win. And I do think West Ham are out of it now. They're 4 points clear of those 3 teams, 5 of Everton. So I think it's up for grabs for those teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think that's a tough run there. The toughest run, I'd say, is Leeds. Man City away, Newcastle at home. I mean, West Ham, going to West Ham's not going to be easy when West Ham possibly need one more win. Mm-hmm. And I know you say Tottenham at home, and you're right to say that. They've been very inconsistent, but it is Tottenham at the end of the day. They are in the European places. They are one of the best teams in the league. So I think the Leeds run-in is probably the hardest, and I wouldn't like to be in Grazia's shoes at the moment.
No, and with 4 huge games each left to play, could it even be who's mentally strong, who shows the most desire, like Everton have shown an increase in, like you say, tonight? Yeah,
I mean, I asked Jordan the question of, saving the penalty kick, the feel-good factor that he gave there, that they took into the second half, that now you can take into the next few games, and that is crucial at this time of the season, going into games feeling like you can win, feeling like, you've got your team behind you and you just need to convert a chance. Whereas you're going into it in the manner that Leeds are at the moment, you feel like the world's against you. Feel every stride you take on the field feels really difficult. So, momentum at this time of the season is more crucial than absolutely anything.
And the dressing rooms, perhaps, that can handle the pressure in those 4 games.
Definitely experience in that dressing room. One thing that Everton is a big disappointment is a man that is very experienced, Seamus Coleman today. That looked a horrific injury, looked like a knee injury, and I just pray that he's okay because it really looked like a bad one. And at his age, you just don't know if he can come back from that one. But it was just a typical of the man as he's getting stretchered off. He was still rallying the troops, still, clapping the fans. And, so he's going to be a big miss. But they have got leaders in that dressing room. So I think, personally, I think Everton might squeeze out of it. OK, we've brought you Everton reaction. Here is some Leicester reaction from the manager, Dean Smith.
Ian, a fair point, or do you think you deserve more than today?
No, I think it's a fair point. If we score the penalty, then I think it's a different game. Obviously, going 3-1 at half time, it becomes a different football game. But we didn't, and I thought we were second best for periods in the first half, especially. We never had the control that I wanted in the game. I felt we got it for a spell in the second half for 25-30 minutes, and we just needed to turn that play into better chances and goals. Our goalkeepers made some really good saves and they've had some big chances, but we have as well. And it became a bit of a basketball, which I probably didn't want. I wanted us to have a little bit more control with and without the ball, and I didn't think we was great with the ball in the first half. From the standard of the players that we've got, probably too many unforced errors.
You almost scored the third with the Jamie Vardy chance and then a penalty. Were you a bit surprised of James Maddison, the way he did the penalty, went to the middle?
No, it's common practice now from a lot of people. They go down the middle with height. I watched him taking them in training yesterday and he was scoring quite a few of them. So, I think it takes bravery from the goalkeeper to stand up down the middle when people are taking penalties because, if he rolls it in either corner and everybody, questions why the goalkeeper's not diving. So, it's one of them things, but we'll move on.
Yeah. Would you be concerned with the opportunities that Leicester gave up and the amount of them going into those final 4 games?
Possibly the opposite. Possibly, if you're not creating chances, then you've got to be worried as a manager. But there's been lots of chances there tonight for both teams. I think that's what Sean Dyche will be particularly happy about. All of a sudden, they can create chances. Leicester, that's never been a problem. They scored a couple of goals. If both teams do that for the rest of the season, I'm sure they'll be all right. So I think that's a good sign, creating chances. Chances will always be missed. You've just got to create enough of them that you're going to score 1 or 2 of them.
Psychologically, things come in at this stage. Just being, although it's only goal difference, just being out of the bottom 3, does that help Leicester?
Yes, and but you've just mentioned the reason, the goal difference. They're not just a goal ahead of those around them. They're 10 plus goals ahead, and when you're fighting at the bottom, that already feels like a point. Those players have to get, the opposite teams have to get an extra point from somewhere to get past you. So psychologically, that puts you in a good position and a base to then go and stride forward. And as you've said, they've had a decent record at home recently, won a couple of points. So I think they'll start to feel with Dean Smith being new in the door that they've got the fight for it.
You still think this is going right to the last day, right to the wire?
Yeah, I do. I think, every week that goes by, it feels like there's one team that pulls out of it. And I think we're probably down to the last 5, maybe 6 if you count West Ham. But this is going to go down to the wire. There'll be 4 or 5 teams that are still possibles to go down at the end of the...
Michael, Leon, thank you very much indeed. 40 goals this weekend, 4 tonight. It's going to be nail-biting in the battle to stay in the Premier League. And the 3 of us will see you soon.